Hey guys, Joe here. Welcome to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video, and welcome back to my patch 1.40/1.41/1.42 review. And today we're going to be taking a look at Yamcha, the Wolf Fang Master, and one of my personal favorite characters to play in the game. This patch gave him a lot of really nice buffs, and I'm pretty happy with what this character got, but we'll get more into that later. But for now, let's actually get into the changes this character got. Oh, and before I forget, I'm going to be doing 2 videos per day rather than the one I've been doing to try and catch up a bit. Because this year is going to end eventually, and spring of next year is not too far away, as we all know. As for when in spring, I don't know. Could be literally any time. Could be March, could be April, could be May, early parts of June, who knows. It's a pretty broad, thing, but regardless, I'll be making 2 videos a day now rather than 1 to kind of catch up a bit. So, without further ado, let's now get into the changes Yamcha has received this patch. The first change I want to talk about is to Yamcha's 5L, which has been sped up. It is now a 6-frame button, which is insane to think that this character, after all this time, having a 7-frame light, a 7-frame jab, now has a 6-frame light normal, which, coinciding with his 2L, as well as the change it received, is going to allow Yamcha to have some seriously strong stagger pressure. Like this, that now actually means something. You can see there's not as much of a delay as there was before. This is a true string now. I'm already spoiling one of the changes, but we'll get more into that in a minute. But for right now, all you need to know is this is now extremely good, and the fact that not only is it faster, but it's safe on block, makes it all the better. So this is a really, really good change for Yamcha, whose biggest strength is his mix. One of his biggest strengths is his mix, and now it's even better, as well as his stagger pressure, which is fantastic for a character like Yamcha. Speaking of crouching light, though, it also got a buff. This reduced knockback on hit, which means if you do this, you don't push the opponent nearly as far as you used to. And considering this is also a 6-frame button with no recovery, or barely any, and is super safe against the opponent, this just lets you do some seriously potent stagger pressure. Like this. You can get that up to 4 times now, which is crazy. Unlike 18, who can get up to 8 times, but for Yamcha, he can get up to 3 or 4 times, which is still really good. And again, 0 on block. So if you combine this with his 5L, you can link them into each other to do something like that. And if you're in the corner, or you can do something like this. Or any kind of mixture of those things. So this opens up a lot of opportunities for Yamcha, which is going to do a lot of good for the character, because his corner pressure is now going to be even better with his staggers now having these properties. A 6-frame 5L and a 2L with barely any knockback on it, or very little compared to what it was before, which again means you could do stuff like that and be safe on block, which is just insane. So this is a really good change for Yamcha. Do I wish that the knockback was reduced to the same level as Android 18's? To a degree, yes, but for what it's worth, I'll take what I can get. This is a really nice change overall. You probably already saw this change earlier, but 2M also got a change. It is now faster as well. At 8 frames. This thing now has an 8-frame startup. So, let's say you go for Machine Gun Punch, for example, as an assist. Right? You now have Super Dash Mix with this move. Which again, considering Yamcha's greatest strength is his mix-ups, this is going to do so unbelievably much for him. You've just got options now. You know? And that's awesome. I'm very, very happy with this change. And it's also going to benefit... these changes are also potentially going to benefit Yamcha's combo game as well. Not sure how, but might make certain links easier. Especially if you're familiar with the beam loops in the corner. Yeah, that'll be easier as well. So, overall, very nice change. Next up, we have Reverse Wolf Fang Fist, which is, this. The medium version of Wolf Fang Fist. Right? Because Yamcha's Wolf Fang Fist is a Rekka series, and what a Rekka series for a character is basically a series of, you know, moves, right? Like for Wolf Fang Fist, you got a complete light version, a complete medium version, and a complete heavy version. So this is the light version. This is the medium version. And this is the heavy version. Which is pretty much automatic, unlike the light and medium version. And you can mix them up, so you could do light into medium into heavy. So you could do light, medium into heavy, light into medium into heavy, more specifically, and so on and so forth. But Reverse Wolf Fang Fist is the medium version. That's the medium starter. And it is now faster, as you've probably been able to see, but if not, it now has a 30-frame startup and is safe on block. This is going to give Yamcha some really, really good mix-up opportunities, especially with this move, especially considering that. But if that wasn't already crazy enough, if you hold down the button, you don't teleport. It is a little easy to telegraph, but thankfully you can mix that up. By letting go of the button at any interval. Right? So, if you hold down the button, that's what you do. If you let go of the button, you have that. So it'll give Yamcha some, again, really nice mix-up opportunities. And considering you can Rekka as well as do that, as well as switch sides with the special button, you've got a lot of opportunities at your disposal. As well as cancel into EX Wolf Fang Fist. As well as the light version of Wolf Fang Fist. You just got a lot of mix-up opportunities at your disposal. Oh, and how could I possibly forget? You can cancel it into Dragon Rush as well. So yeah, this is overall these are really good changes for Reverse Wolfang Fist. Very nice changes for Yamcha's mix, and they're gonna do a lot for him. Yes, like I said, it is easy to telegraph, but you do have a ton of options at your disposal. And you can cover it with literally anything. So, you've got that at your disposal, which is pretty nice. Alright, so now let's talk about Wolfang Fist, more specifically the Pack Attack and Finisher. I'm going to be starting with the light version of Pack Attack because that got a really nice change in the fact that it now builds more meter. This is an extremely good change because now this allows Yamcha to build more meter. He could already comfortably cross the 2-bar threshold last patch, but now he exceeds it. So let's say I do a pretty simple combo that Yamcha players do, like this one. As you can see there, I nearly built 2 bars, and if I had gotten that last hit, I would have built 2 bars plus a tiny bit extra. This is extremely good for Yamcha because now he has access to meter build that allows him to take advantage of some of his strongest mix-up tools, which is just going to do the character so many favors. It's honestly incredible that this character can now build reliable meter. It's really good. Next is the medium version of Wolfang Fist Pack Attack, which now has does more damage and has greater knockback, which looks like this. So now that shit does even more damage. Which is incredibly good. But let's take a look at it without using the medium start. Let's do the light start. It does a lot more damage, which is really, really good. And if used in combos, of course, that's going to allow your damage numbers to increase. Which again, is really, really good. In fact, let me show you that same combo, but instead using the medium version instead of the light version of Pack Attack. So as you saw there, I was able to build even more bar from that and do even more damage, reaching into the 5k damage threshold, which is insane for a character like Yamcha. But it's really good overall. And it is going to do a lot of favors for Yamcha's combo routing. It's going to do so many fucking favors. Now let's talk about the Wolfang Fist finishers, which is the last part of the Wolfang Fist Rekka series. Obviously. Anyways. Both the light and medium versions of this also got buffed. Starting with the light version, it now has adjusted knockback, which looks like this. You now get a reliable ground bounce off of that. A ground bounce. If you do this after a long combo, or let's say you do a combo and then vanish. Let's say you do a combo and then vanish and then do it. You can then confirm into a super, which looks like this. That shit is really, really good. Especially if you're going to finish a combo with Yamcha in the corner. You can then also convert into his level 3 a lot more easily as well. Which would look like this. If you can hit it anyways. Or actually, scratch that, if you have the meter for it. Which I currently do not. So yeah. Now, Yamcha is able to guarantee a super out of his light Wolfang Fist, which is really, really good. Now let's talk about the medium version of Wolfang Fist finisher, which has two changes, the first of which being increased block stun, which looks like this. You are now -4 on block, which means you're much safer, which is awesome. But that's not where this ends, because in addition to that, if you also use up all your smash hits with Yamcha, and then go for the medium finisher, you now get a different kind of knockback. The knockback reaction is much different this time. Let me show you. Let me show you with a little example in the corner. So with that knockback, what I think that means is you'll be able to connect into a super much more easily when you do that sequence. You'll be able to connect into a level 1 and a level 3 much easier, I believe. Well, okay, let me try the level 3 one again. Yeah, so that'll just make converting into that a lot easier. So, overall, this is a really nice buff for Yamcha. A really nice quality of life buff for Yamcha, really. The next change is for all versions of the Gale Claws, which is that. You now have greater stun time during the attack, which means that now longer combos will not drop when you use this move as a finisher, which is huge for Yamcha, because if you wanted to end with any finisher, you had to finish with the medium Wolfang Fist finisher. But now you can finish with the Gale Claws, which looks like this. Let me show you a decently long combo that you can. Let me show you a combo I came up with earlier that utilizes this. Now you are no longer at risk of dropping a combo, because now all versions of Gale Claw will keep the opponent in the attack like a fucking whirlwind until you're done. And this also means you now have another reliable option for a sliding knockdown, which again is phenomenal for someone like Yamcha. This is going to give the character so much. And look at how much meter I built. I was at how much? 4 bars. And I built 2, almost 3 off of that combo. If that doesn't tell you just how crazy this change is, I don't know what will. And that combo I literally just came up with before I started this video, so take that as you will. But overall, this is a really fantastic change for Yamcha, because need I even mention that not only is this able to help with granting Yamcha another means of getting a sliding knockdown, but they're anti-airs. And with that, you now keep them locked in for longer. And especially if you're going for the medium version, or the EX version, you are going to have a much easier time getting that sliding knockdown now. And getting advantage, which is just fucking phenomenal. And you don't have to worry about, and if you decide to do a combo where you utilize Gale Claws and then Spark, you can do the whole fucking attack and then Spark. Before, you'd have to cancel early. You'd have to cancel the Spark early because they would fall out. There would be a risk of that. But now, you could do the whole fucking thing, get all the damage from the attack, and then Spark, which is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is something Yamcha has been needing for so long, and I'm so glad he finally got it. The last change to talk about with Yamcha is to the EX Wolfang Fist, aka the Neo Wolfang Fist, which now has a new knockback reaction after you use a smash hit, which looks like this in the corner. And full screen looks like this. Yeah, so this change could have been good if it weren't for the fact that there's just so little stun time to make any real use of it as a combo option after using a smash hit, that it kind of makes this change feel pointless. So maybe if the EX Wolfang Fist, if the Neo Wolfang Fist change, if this change could be complemented by having greater stun time after the last hit to allow for, you know, conversions both mid-screen and in the corner, I think that would make this change feel a lot better. But overall, I think that this change, while it had a very interesting idea behind it, allowing you to utilize, let's call it the weak hit of Neo Wolfang Fist, or the non-smash hit of the last part of Neo Wolfang Fist, as, you know, a way to allow you to convert out of it. Adjusting the knockback to allow for such a thing is a good idea, but without enough stun time, I just feel like this change doesn't really have a lot of weight behind it. So giving that last hit more stun time would do this move so many favors, and it would make this change actually feel like it's worth something. Just saying. And with that, we have covered all of the changes that Yamcha has received this patch in. My god, did he receive a lot of good changes. The best changes this character got, easily, were a 6-frame 5L, reduced knockback on his 2L, a faster 2M, Gale Claws actually allowing you to utilize the move properly as a sliding knockdown after a really long combo by having the opponent stay in the attack the whole time until the final hit. Having the light and medium version of Pack Attack and Finisher get buffed to make comboing with this character easier, as well as utilizing them in, you know, Yamcha's mix being even better. These changes do so many things for Yamcha. they actually allow this character to have so much compared to what he had before. I will say though, if there's one change, and I've already vocalized this, but I'm going to say it again, if there's one change that I am pretty disappointed with in regards to Yamcha's changes, it's to the EX Wolfang Fist change, or Neo Wolfang Fist change. That one disappointed me, because it had potential. They just needed to do one thing to really capitalize on the idea, and that's give it increased stun time. If they did that, that change would mean all the difference in the world. But as it currently stands, it's pretty underwhelming. And if you're going to be using Neo Wolfang Fist, not EX Wolfang Fist, same difference regardless. If you're using Neo Wolfang Fist in a combo, you're better off just using it as either. You're better off just using it for, you know, that as a combo starter, or even just. You're better off doing it like. You're better off doing it like that, or. Or something like that. Because realistically, you're not really gonna get much else out of the non-smash hit, right? That's just not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen at all. But again, if that change were backed up by greater stun time on the last hit, I think it could genuinely work. And I would love to see it genuinely work. You know? But I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see. And with all that said and done, while Yamcha got a lot of fantastic buffs this patch, I don't think the character is quite done yet. And the reason I say that is because, well, I guess that's what the last segment of the video is for, ain't it? So, let's get to it. So now we've come to the last part of the video where I cover all of the changes I personally would make to the character. And there's not too much here, but what is here I think would definitely help Yamcha a ton, in my own opinion. So, let's get started with 2M. Now, 2M being 8 frames is really good, but it doesn't go anywhere. Now let's compare that to someone like Tien. His 2M does travel, and at the distance he goes, he could get to the opponent from this distance here in two 2Ms. And in addition to that, let's say you decide to do a 2L after a 2M. Tien can do that. He can do that. As for Yamcha, he can't, because he doesn't move forward enough to allow the 2L to reach. Even in the corner, he can't do it. Even after doing, he can do a 5L, that he can do. But that's the only way he'd be able to eventually link a 2L, is using 5L to get close enough, which, thanks to the fact that it's a 6 frame normal, makes it easier. And even then, that's questionable. But more than likely consistent. But that's the thing. You shouldn't have to go in with a 5L to be able to land the 2L. I mean, don't get me wrong, it being a 6 frame option, as well as a really solid stagger option, is really good, but Yamcha should be able to go into 2L out of a 2M. So I think increasing the distance in which 2M travels to be similar to Tien's 2M would do the character a lot of favors. The next change, or rather next changes I would like to talk about, are to 5S. Or more specifically, I want to branch off from 5S because Yamcha has 3 total variations of this specific Ki Blast. And there are 2 similarities between all 3 of them. So, there's 5S, there's 2S, and there's JS. Now, let's cover the similarities. With the first one being, they're all retreating Ki Blasts. Anytime you fire these Ki Blasts, Yamcha is going to jump back. Now, this isn't a complete problem, but that does bring us to the second similarity. These are the only Ki Blasts Yamcha has, and he has no real grounded Ki Blasts of any kind. And that bothers me, because I think grounded Ki Blast is something Yamcha could definitely use. And I think having a grounded Ki Blast could be incredibly beneficial for Yamcha's neutral, for Yamcha's pressure, for his mix-up game. I think it could do him a lot of favors. So, what I have come up with is 3 brand new Ki Blasts for Yamcha. A 1S, a 2-2S, and a 3S. All of which share these properties. An adjusted distance move to stay close to the opponent, aka keeping the opponent grounded. Having the Ki Blast fire close to the opponent and keep the opponent, keep the character in place. Sorry. And then having the Ki Blast match a specific another Ki Blast. So 1S would replicate 5S, 2-2S would replicate 2S, and 3S would replicate JS in regards to projectile speed. So, not only would these projectiles allow Yamcha to stay grounded and stay close to the opponent, but they would also copy the properties of other Ki Blasts. As I said, 1S would copy 5S, 2S would copy 2S, would copy 2S, and 3S would copy JS. So, let me put this into perspective for you. Here's the speed of 5S. That's the medium speed. That would be 1S. 2S would copy 2S's projectile speed, being a much slower Ki Blast. And 3S would copy JS's Ki Blast speed, being lightning fast. And I think if Yamcha got these 3 Ki Blasts, he would be incredibly good. He would have much better neutral. And I think it would help him out outside of just neutral. It would help him with his mix, his corner pressure, maybe even his combo games could benefit from it. Combo game could benefit from it. Who knows? But regardless, having 3 new Ki Blasts that let Yamcha stay grounded instead of being retreating Ki Blasts would do the character so much good. The next change I want to talk about is to Wolfang Fist Flash, which, if I remember correctly, is this. Doing the EX after the medium version of Wolfang Fist, or reverse Wolfang Fist, and then doing EX afterwards. Now, for this move, there's one singular change that I would make, and that's to the block stun. You see how Yamcha is -5 while the opponent is +5? I would swap the numbers around. Have Yamcha be +5 and the opponent be negative. This way, Yamcha, after doing this, can have greater advantage and can immediately act out of it and keep the opponent blocked. I think that would do Yamcha a lot of good. I really do think so. And I think it would help out his mix a fuck ton. Because if they're not willing to give the, because that's the only thing I could think of to make that move, you know, as good as it used to be. It's just make Yamcha plus unblock. But in addition to that, there's another EX move I would definitely change. And that is EX Gale Claw, which, watch this. As you saw, it causes a sliding knockdown, which is good, but I feel like that'd be better when ending a combo, but even then, Medium Gale Claw does that just fine. So I think EX Gale Claw should gain a new property, that property being a ground bounce. It can keep the sliding knockdown, but I definitely think having a ground bounce after doing EX Gale Claw would make it an incredible combo starter. And I think giving Yamcha another combo starter that isn't, you know, any of his buttons or his EX Wolfang Fist would be really, really good. And the last change I would want to see for Yamcha is something I've mentioned before with other characters with beam assists, specifically A-type and B-type beam assists, and that's having greater hit stun on the beam, which makes mid-screen conversions easier. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but if you've seen my first video in this series, you'll understand. But pretty much just better conversions with the beam assist mid-screen. And with that, those are all the changes I would personally make to Yamcha. A 2M that travels further, just a little bit, similarly to TN's. 3 new Ki Blasts, 3 new grounded Ki Blasts, with properties similar to the other 3 retreating Ki Blast Yamcha has, making the Wolfang Fist Flash, which again is that, making that +5 on block, and then giving this a ground bounce, as well as having B assist get greater hit stun, of course. All those changes combined, in my opinion, would make Yamcha an incredibly strong character. Now, if there was one other thing I could change about Yamcha, at all, if there's anything else that I could think of to change with Yamcha, it would probably be slightly increasing the duration in which A assist. It would be slightly increasing the duration of A assist, just slightly, not too much, but just enough. And with that, that's all the changes I would give to Yamcha. That covers everything I have to say in this video. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Next time we'll be talking about TN, and that video will be out right after the Yamcha video. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'll do it after Yamcha. But in the meantime, until we meet for the TN video, which will be later today, don't do anything stupid. Take care of yourselves. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.